Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about the 10 things that you can cut out of your budget to help save money. There's actually plenty of things that you can cut out of your budget that you might not even miss. Small purchases can really make a big dent into your budget, and the same can be said for small savings can really make a big impact on how much money you can save each month. Most of the things I'm going to talk about here are things that I've personally done. There are a few that I haven't done, but friends of mine have done. You could save thousands by cutting these things out of your budget. Let's start with my first category, that's buying lunch and buying coffee each day. This is specifically for people who work, but anybody who buys coffee or lunch on a regular basis. In my area, takeaway coffees usually go between $3 and $5. That's pretty an average price. So if you were buying a coffee every morning, that's 3 times 5, that's $15. Over the course of a year, $15 times 52 weeks is $780 a year that you're spending on takeaway coffee. That's a lot of money. Now compare that if you actually bought your own espresso machine for around $60 and a year's supply of coffee might cost you $150. So now you're spending $220 instead of $780. That's a saving of $560 a year. Now onto lunches, the same principle. Most people spend around, I'd say $10 a day on lunches. That includes maybe a drink and a snack. In fact, it's probably more than that. $10 a day over the 5 working days is $50, and $50 times 52 weeks is $2,600 a year. That's crazy. Compare that to if you were to make your own lunches. You could be taking in last night's leftovers, or you could be making it each day, and it's not unreasonable to think that you'd only be spending around $3 a day to make your own lunch, and that even might include bringing in a can of drink that you've bought from the supermarket in bulk rather than buying one, or drinking water, which will be not only healthier but save you a lot more money. But we'll use the example of $3 a day times 5 is $15 times 52 is $780. So take away what we had before, was it 2,600 minus the 780 is, that's a saving of $1,820. That's nearly $2,000 just for taking your own lunches in every day. Crazy. My second category is eating out and takeaway. I feel like they belong in the same category as well. Now I'll start with takeaway. We used to have takeaway once a week. It used to be like a normal thing. It used to be Friday night takeaway. We'd probably spend around $30 each time, sometimes more, sometimes less, but it averaged out about $30. So $30 a week over 52 weeks is $1,560. We don't do that anymore. What we do now is we try and recreate some of our takeaway favorites, and we try to make them a bit more healthier as well. So we might make a healthy pizza, or I'll cut up some sweet potato for chips, and we'll have our own homemade garlic bread and fried rice or something, whatever we feel like. Making your own takeaway is so much cheaper. And that brings us to restaurants. Now, we weren't big restaurant people. I would say that we went out to a restaurant about once a month. And it wasn't to big, expensive, fancy restaurants. It was usually just to a family restaurant. So it wasn't unusual for our bill to be around the $100 mark. That's pretty normal with drinks and food and dessert. $100 once a month over 12 months is $1,200. We don't do that anymore. Now, I still like going out to restaurants, but now it's more, we only go out for special occasions. So that's maybe 3 or 4 times a year. So if we say that it's now costing me $400 a year rather than $1,200 a year, that's a saving of $800. Pretty good. All right, the next one, cable TV subscriptions. So expensive, especially here in Australia. Our only option really is Foxtel. It used to be that everybody had Foxtel. It's not as common now with streaming services such as Netflix and Stan, because you can get TV shows and movies on there, but a lot of people still keep Foxtel because of the sport. Because if you're into sport, it's really difficult to try and find somewhere else to watch all the games that you're interested in, but it can be done. Now, the normal costs for around Foxtel in Australia is, most people pay around $80 a month. There are basic packages that start at $50 and $60. Some people pay more if they get every single package, but most people who have Foxtel are paying around the $80 a month. So if you were to cut that out, that $80 a month over 12 months is $960. So nearly $1,000 that you're paying just to watch sport. Now there are other options now. There's the Foxtel Now, which is their streaming service. It's a little bit cheaper, but they don't have all of the sports channels. So probably your best bet is to go and get one of the apps like the AFL app or the NRL app and watch that way. That means you'll be having to watch on a device, not on the television, but there are ways around that. Or you could just go to the game every now and then. In fact, going to a game 2 or 3 times a year and watching the game live is a hell of a lot cheaper than buying Foxtel. My fourth option is subscription boxes. I used to love subscription boxes, and I have to tell you, I still like the idea of subscription boxes. I mean, I loved the thrill of that day that the box arrived and you opened it to see what you got inside, and it was like all these little gifts and presents, but it was costing us so much money. Now, I think we were getting 4 at the time. I was getting 2 bath and beauty type boxes, one from Australia, and I was getting Fortune Cookie soap from the US. I was getting Nerd Block Junior for my daughter. I was getting Loot Crate for my son, and shipping and the boxes itself. I was paying around $120 in subscription boxes, which looking back now is a little bit crazy, but that's what I was paying. And you know what? I'd only ever really love 1 or 2 products in the box. And the same with the kids. They'd only ever really play with 1 or 2 items in the box, and the rest were usually discarded. And so we weren't getting the value out of it. So they're gone. $120 a month over 12 months is a saving of $1,440. I know, I was paying $1,440 for all of this stuff that I never really got the best value out of. Anyway, moving on. Number 5 is gym memberships. It happens every year. I say I'm going to go to the gym and work out and get abs like an Instagram model. Never happens. Now, it's not the gym's fault that I don't always make my goals there. Obviously, it's commitment to going to the gym and commitment to work out. So the fault lies with me, but I've actually found I prefer working out at home. I like to pop a YouTube video on and I can do whatever workout I feel like for that day, whether it's abs or yoga or whatever I feel like doing, I can do it at home. I'm not paying for the quite expensive fees to go to the gym. I don't have to worry about transportation to get there. All around, it's actually been a lot more pleasant, and there are plenty of workouts on Pinterest. There's different challenges going around, all for free. I love it much more. Now, I was paying $35 a week for my gym membership, and while I was still going 2 or 3 times a week, it wasn't worth it for me. So saving $35 a week over 12 months has saved me $1,820. Now, the only expenses I've had since I've been working out at home, I bought a yoga mat and I bought a set of weights that I can use when I'm working out. And I think that cost me maybe $40 all up. Way cheaper. Okay, the 6th thing to cut out of your budget is any bad habits that you have, like smoking or excessive drinking. They are costing not only your health, but your wallet. Now, this isn't a problem that I actually have. I don't smoke and I rarely drink, only occasionally socially. So let's start with smoking first. I do have friends that smoke, and I am amazed at how much money they're paying to support their habit. It costs around $20 a packet of cigarettes here in Australia. It's heavily taxed, that's why it costs so much. $20 a pack is what most average smokers go through, so that's $20 a day on cigarettes. $20 a day times 365 days is $7,300. Can we just pause for a second there? $7,300. Oh my God, that is such a lot of money. Now, I know it's not so easy just to say, oh, well, give up, you'll save all this money, it'll be beneficial to your health. I know it's not that easy, but it's something that you really need to work and try and do, because that's nearly $8,000 and your health is being impacted. It surely has to be something you need to work on. Now, the second part of the bad habits is excessive drinking. Now, I was reading recently that the average amount of alcohol consumption weekly for an Australian, and I would assume this is kind of similar in other Western parts of the world, is 5 beers, 1 bottle of wine, 3 mixed drinks, and about half a cider. That's averaged over 1 week. Now, I went and worked out how much it would cost to buy these items at a liquor store. Now, this isn't even at a bar, this is just at a liquor store. If you were actually consuming that each week, it would cost you $80 a week or $4,160 a year. That's a lot of money on alcohol. Now, I realize nobody's going to just cut out their alcohol consumption because I said, oh, it costs too much. We are a nation of drinkers. So what I recommend instead is to just cut that in half. Like, instead of going out each week, go out every second week, and you'll be able to cut that $4,160 in half just by going out every second week instead of every week, or not drinking 1 week and drinking the next week. You could be the designated driver perhaps. By cutting your alcohol consumption in half, you can save $2,080. The 7th item on my list is fast fashion, or just when you go into a store and you see a top that you like and you go, I'm just going to get that. It's $15, it's $20. Now, I'm guilty of this as anybody. I'm especially guilty when it comes to buying clothes for my kids. I'll see something cute and I'll go, oh, I have to have that. But I have got better about this, and I don't do this anymore because it wasn't uncommon for me to be easily spending around $30 a week just on picking up 1 or 2 items here and there. So $30 a week over 52 weeks is $1,560 a year. Now what I do is I kind of create sort of like a capsule wardrobe. So each season I'll put together a plan of what we'll need for that season, and if there's any clothing items that are missing, like I might need to buy some more warm clothes or more swimwear depending on the season, and then I'll add to our wardrobes. So now I'm usually spending around $150 4 times a year, which is $600, which means I'm now saving $960 just by planning out my wardrobe and being a bit smarter, not only for me, but also for the kids. The 8th item that you can cut out of your budget is designer items. Now, I have to say that I've never really understood designer items, whether it's clothing, accessories, what have you. I have never been on board. So I'm probably not the best person to say, just cut it out, it'll be easy. If you have some sort of connection or love certain designer brands. Here's how I look at it. If you can afford it, great. If you've got that much disposable income and it's part of your spending budget, go for it. But for me, $200 on a t-shirt, which is something that I recently saw, it was just a plain t-shirt, is way too much. It was just a t-shirt. And yes, it was a very nice t-shirt, but for $200, it's not worth it. Now, I know people will say that designer clothes are often made better and they won't go out of fashion or shape as quick, and I totally agree with that. I agree that they're made better. I agree that they have better quality materials. But I can get a pretty decent t-shirt, an ethically sourced t-shirt, for around $20. Now, that ethically sustained t-shirt will last me probably only a year, maybe 2, which means that $200 t-shirt has to last 10 years for it to be the same value as if I'm buying a $20 t-shirt every year. And I don't think that's true. So by buying good quality products but not designer products, you can actually save yourself a lot of money. Now, I'll use this example that I had of the $200 versus $20 t-shirt, so you'll be saving $180 in that example. But the amount you can actually save is limitless depending on what you actually are interested in and what you can get at a cheaper price. Number 9, expensive entertainment. Oh my God, how much are tickets to see bands and concerts and shows these days? They are so expensive. A couple of $100 just to go and see a show for me and the family. That's crazy. And even smaller entertainment costs like going to the movies or buying books has gotten really expensive as well. Now, here's what we do. For smaller entertainment purchases like going to the movies or buying books, I still buy books for me and the kids. I don't feel like that's a entertainment I want to get rid of. That's important to me, but I make sure I budget for that in my shopping expenses. But I won't do things like buy food at the cinema candy shop or popcorn or anything. Sometimes we try and sneak our own snacks in. And I'm pretty lucky with big entertainment costs. My kids haven't really shown any interest in going to see any concerts or any shows. That's not an issue for us. But I feel like if they get older and they want to go somewhere, I would limit it to one big event a year. I wouldn't be going often, so it would be just special occasions. My tip here is to have a look at your entertainment expenses and see where you can cut back. Perhaps you could do some free activities or alternate things depending on what you're interested in. I did read on a blog that the average Australian spends around $100 a month on entertainment. That sounds about right to me. So if you were to cut that back completely, that would be $1,200. But even if you cut that back to half, that's still saving $600. And my last one, number 10, is outsourced work. And what I'm talking about here is those jobs that you get other people to do around your house that you could do yourself. So things like mowing the lawn or getting someone to clean your house or even washing the car. These are all jobs you can do yourself. And I know what you're going to say, those jobs suck, but you're paying a lot of money for things that you could do yourself. In this area, lawn mowing services usually charge around the $50 and you'll probably need it twice a month, which means you'd be paying $1,200 for someone to mow your lawn for a year, and you could buy a mower and do it yourself for way cheaper. Cleaning your house, and again, I know it sucks and it's so much nicer when somebody else does it, but the costs of getting someone to clean your house, they usually charge around $30 an hour, and they often take 2 hours, so $60 each time someone comes and cleans your house. And if they are coming weekly, $60 a week over 52 weeks is $3,120 for someone to clean your house. Now I know you don't want to do it. I know it'll make you dirty and sweaty and it's not a great job to do, but it's going to save you so much money. Like if you were doing your own cleaning and you're mowing your own lawn, you can save up to $4,000 or even more. That's a huge amount to be paying to outsource. So there you go, some of my favorite things that you can cut out of your budget that you may not miss and can save you thousands of dollars. I hope you found this video helpful, and I'll see you next week. See you later.